Welcome to Data Leaders, and this is Devalbot, and today I have Lisa Kirch with us. Lisa, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to chat with you today.
Thank you very much, Naval. I'm very excited to be on your show.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the greatest podcasts ever because I've never had a chance to chat with someone with so much experience in the financial industry. So I'm really looking forward to this. Looking at your experience, you have like 20 years of business experience, which is pretty awesome for a data scientist. And most of your experience is in financial services industry, and a lot of your experiences. You have a lot of experience working with financial data. You're a recent data science graduate from Berkeley, and some of the interesting things about you is that you've lived, worked, and studied in Belgium, Switzerland, and Malaysia. And this is what I found the most interesting about you is that you work for Greenspan as well as Warren Buffett. This is awesome. You have a pretty strong resume here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been very interested in how technology and data can be used to help people. So over the years, I've applied different models to data streams to see if like lending to low-income people is profitable, how credit models should be priced, building security and financial services tools. And then when I heard about UC Berkeley's Master of Information and Data Science program, I thought, oh, this is perfect. This will help me take my skills to the next level. And I have to say, it has been extremely gratifying working with so many smart people on the visualization, communication, analytical, machine learning skills, and with such a hands-on environment of cutting-edge tools like R, Python, Spark, Scala, sklearn. It's been great. And throughout this program, I've focused on a variety of issues, such as autonomous cars, what are the legal, ethical, and privacy concerns about the Internet of Things, how you would predict, demand for bicycles with machine learning. I actually helped develop and run an experiment to see if, speed reading technologies can be helpful to people, and also working with open source data to figure out, hey, what's the best fit hospital for me, whether it's distance or cost or things like that.
Wow, I really, of all the projects you just mentioned, I really, the one that piqued my interest was the speed reading one. I've been trying to become a speed reader and a super learner for quite some time now, and I haven't been successful. So that would be a great project for me to learn more about. But I'm not going to be selfish today, and I'm going to talk about the project that's going to help all our listeners, which is your capstone project. I looked at your capstone project, and it looks like I read it all, and there's so much analysis and visualization there to drive awareness and conservation. Would you please tell us a little more about the project and tell me a little about what got you interested in that field, as well as what was the scope of the project? Let's start with that, and I'll share my screen here in a second.
Sounds good. I'd be happy to expand a little bit on that. So living in a society where the cost of technology, sensors and CPUs and storage has come down so much, wireless is pretty pervasive. Everyone's generating so much data, but we don't always know what do we do with that data, or how can we use that to make a better decision. And you've seen in the news, states like California and Texas have had a lot of energy and water challenges. And even though they have sensors in their meters and consumers can access this data from the Green Button program, they may not know what to do with it. I mean, it's just numbers, and how can I make good financial and conservation decisions based on this? So for our project, we called it You Can Serve, and feel free to go to the website and play around with it some more if you like. We conducted some research, on behavioral change, interviewed a bunch of people, iterated on a variety of user interfaces in order to develop an application that actually let people easily see, comprehend, and act on the data that they were generating. So we used a variety of data. We used sensor data provided by Pecan Street, demographic information, weather, carbon footprint data, and combine this with some easy to understand icons to show customers like their current usage, what their predicted bill would be, how they compare to the previous day, what's their carbon footprint, how can they offset it, and to offer other personalized recommendations to help them change their consumption habits. And we used a variety of tools. We used R, Python, Postgres, SQL database, SoftLayer, and Shiny servers to, build this pipeline to gather the data, clean it, extract it, and analyze different patterns. We used ARIMA models, time series for the predictions. We also let users see how their consumption changes depending on the time of the day, how heavily they're using their energy or water, and help them kind of figure out, do I want to shift it to a less costly billing period or time of day instead of peak hours, or examine which appliances are like really pulling heavily on the energy through figuring this out through disaggregation. And then make recommendations, like, oh, you could save this much if you replaced your, this appliance with something more energy efficient. And we designed this for different platforms. The in-home device where someone could just walk by, get a quick update, know everything about all their different types of energy and water usage. They'd have incentives to compete, with each other, so they could dive in further on the tablet or the website to see, how am I doing compared to my neighbor? How is the weather affecting me? And they can get a little more detail on their consumption patterns.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at your website, which I will share here in the blog. But it looks like there was a lot of work that went into this project, and I especially like the aspect that you have the sharing thing here, which they can see what their neighbors are doing. People tend to be influenced by their social circles and their demographics. So this is great. Curious, this seems like a lot of work. Did you ever intend to take this to market, or have you been approached by companies like Nest to integrate with their systems or anything like that? What's the future of this product?
Well, we haven't been approached yet, but we'd be open to that. Basically, we developed the whole thing in about 12 weeks. This was one of the first, we were a team of 3, including myself. We were the first to kind of combine not just electricity, but also, gas and water. And while we haven't quite, priced out the individual components, how much would we sell this for, it is possible, to expand on the models, to come up with additional features, and we'd totally be open to, making it into a product.
yeah, I'll totally be excited about that when you do take it to market and see how it performs. Great product here. So I'm curious, did you work on it by yourself? Did you have other people work with you? And how long did it take? Is there like a GitHub repository for this? Is it like a lot of code, or is it a little bit of code, a lot of integration? Can you tell us a little about the amount of effort that went into this?
Well, there were 3 of us working on it. We used our code is actually in GitHub, and you can it's linked to the website. You can find it there too. We only put the successful code.
Right.
But we, the different iterations were like, let's, examine the data, see what's going on. We did, only the final product is there. And it took, from initial concept to, working prototype and iterating through a few, user testing sessions and things like that, 12 weeks. So there's definitely room for improvement, tweaking, enhancing, and we talked a little bit about that on the website. And there's also our contact information if you're interested in reaching any of our team.
Great. I'm sure you will have a lot of interest after this podcast. There's a lot of people who listen to this, so I'm going to change the gears a little bit. So tell me a little about the way I know that there are a lot of people listening to this is because I actually have stats. I download the podcast stats and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to change the gears a little bit. What I wanted to know is you've been putting a lot of time, a lot of your evenings and weekends on the data science program for the past couple of years, and I would like to learn more about what you're looking for to get back to in your life, in your professional life, in your personal life, and perhaps some of the causes that you're interested in. But first, tell me, what is it that you're dying to get back to now that you're done with the program?
Well, my family's very happy to see me again, and and actually able to read things that are not on the syllabus. But seriously, is just an amazing amount of interesting topics that I've worked on. So now I'm interested in looking for opportunities to apply my passion in both, in data science, design, technology, and visualization to help humanity kind of find a more sustainable way of living. So there's quite a lot of places, like you mentioned, Nest, things like the Monterey Bay Aquarium or Tesla or some of the smart city projects where there's tons of data out there, and I would love to help them make better use of the data and help people make smarter decisions.
Yeah. Smart cities. That's the future. I read a book called Abundance, and they talk about smart cities and whatnot as as the next frontier for technology that's going to be enabled by data and IoT and a lot of other things. So this is interesting. Yeah.
Plus, you need the user experience too, like how, if things are talking to each other and there's no screen, how do you make that work for people? So there's a lot to think about. Pretty exciting.
Well, Lisa, how do people get in touch with you if they want to, learn more about your project, want to consult with you, want to hire you for any of their projects? How do they get in touch with you?
You can reach me at lkirch@ischool.berkeley.edu, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And definitely feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, feedback on anything I discussed today, or just want to chat about data science or something. Thanks.
Great. Well, I'm sure they will after listening to this podcast specifically about the smart cities. I think there's a lot of interest in that area, especially with what the kind of products they have designed: smart homes, smart cities. Smart home is the near future. Smart cities is the long-term future. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be there's going to be some interest in that area going forward. This was a great podcast, Lisa. Thanks so much for being on here, and best of luck with your data science pursuits. Once again, when you're ready to talk about smart cities, I would love to have you back, or smart homes even. I would love to have you back for the part 2 of this interview and talk more about it.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure learning from you, and I'm so much thankful to you for such an awesome podcast.